Alright, I'm sitting here with James Thompson from Australia.
Woo.
Yay! And can you please tell me about what you and your wife experienced in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, well, we'd been in Mozambique for 10 weeks doing the Iris Mission School. And while we were out doing outreach one time, I was really excited to try and see some miracles happen. And we started praying for this blind lady. And I thought she was going to be healed. And I looked over and my wife was holding my son and wasn't praying. And so I thought I'd go grab my boy and so that she could pray and be involved in the miracle. But as I sat down with my boy, I really felt God really asked me, do you even care if this woman is healed? Or do you just want to see a cool miracle? And I thought, well, actually, I just want to see a cool miracle. And so over the next few weeks, God really spoke to me about love, and I really encountered His love in that time as well. And so straight after the school, we went to Zimbabwe on a mission trip. And once again, we were walking through a village, and we saw this woman who was blind. And this time when we went up to her, we just started praying that God would just love her so much that she would be able to see again. And so we just started praying for her, just praying that God would love her. And I'll never forget when she opened her eyes and looked at her hands and started running her fingers down the creases in her hands. And then she started pointing to the different colours and saying, you know, blue, green, black, white. And then she picked up her grandson, who she hadn't seen before, and looked at him in the eyes and said, my grandson. And I was wrecked. I was a complete mess. Even when I think about it, I sort of get a bit emotional and that sort of thing, because it wasn't so much the miracle that astounded me, it was the love of God in that moment that really blew me away. So that was on one day. 2 days later, we were at Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world, just enjoying God's creation, just enjoying being with God. We had no agenda, we had no program, we didn't have anything planned. But as we walked into the car park after seeing the waterfall, a deaf mute came up to us with a clipboard, and he wanted us to sign something. But we said, no, we're not going to sign it, but we'd love to pray for you. And so we started praying for him, and we looked over his shoulder, and there was all these Zimbabwean shop owners who were just sort of watching and laughing and mocking us as we prayed for him. They were laying their hands on one another and joking around. But it all changed pretty quickly when the guy we were praying for just all of a sudden goes like this, and he started pointing to his ear, and he was beginning to hear a little bit. And so I turned to the guys behind me and said, hey, has he always been able to hear a little bit, or is this something new? And their faces just changed. And they said, no, he's never heard anything before. And so I said, great, well, he can now, let's keep praying. So, we just kept praying and pressing in. And by the end of that time, he could say, Jesus, Jesus. He was beginning to get his speech was coming, and he could hear out of both ears. And not only that, but all the shop owners, they witnessed the power of God, and they were dragging us by the arm into their shop, saying, come, bless our shop, bless our shop. And it really spoke to me because, a couple of days ago, God spoke about it's all about love. And then this time, it was just about being, I guess, in love with God and just sharing out of the love that's in your heart. We had nothing planned, but then this guy got completely healed. And so we went to lunch after that, and we were all excited, and we were saying, wow, we've seen the blind get healed, we've seen the deaf get healed, like, what about the cripples? And there was a guy sitting there in the restaurant where we were, and he wasn't crippled, but he couldn't move one leg, and he had crutches to get along. He'd been in a train accident or something like this. And so we prayed for him, and he got up and was able to walk without his crutches. And so we were praising God, and he was pretty happy too. And and then we went back, had our meal, and as we were leaving, we were waiting outside, and we saw this man come outside again, and he was back on his crutches, and we thought, oh no. We thought, I thought he got healed. Oh well, you know, that sort of thing. But as we watched him walk down the road, all of a sudden he stopped, put his crutches in one hand and put them under his arm, and carried on down the road with his crutches under his arm, because he was healed. And so, you know, we were just completely blown away. We saw God, you know, heal the blind, the deaf, and cripples, the deaf mute. But it was all God's love. And that was the revelation that we got out of it, that God just loves people a lot.
Thank you so much for sharing. Bless you.